Welcome back into the Round These Third podcast. I'm Nick. We got Harrison and Sean. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Good, boys. What's up? Happy
Awesome.
to be here on a Tuesday.
I know.
On a Tuesday,
Weird.
special night, special occasion tonight. It's going to be awesome. Before we get going, just follow us, like us, subscribe on YouTube, and interact with us when you can. Like we announced last week, we're doing an all-time MLB draft tonight. And we have some guests with us ready to come on.
Yeah, we recruited some scrubs like right off the street. Don't even know where these guys came from.
Right. So we got Morgan, Brian, and Matt. So we'll welcome them all in. How we doing, fellas?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Great.
Look at this
all
crew.
Right. So we predetermined the draft order, and it was kind of rigged. Me and Sean got the shaft. But
listen, I believe it was full of commissioner honesty. He's about as straight a shooter as Goodell. I really appreciate it.
You said Stern.
But so we have our first pick will be Morgan. Then it'll be followed by Matt. Then Harrison has the third pick. Brian has the fourth pick. I have the fifth, and then Sean has the sixth. So what we are going to do is we are going to draft every position. Outfield is going to be position specific as well. We're going to draft 2 starters and 1 reliever. I was thinking about doing a Yankee swap type thing at the end in the Christmas spirit, but like if we're not going to really be able to see who got drafted, does that make sense? It's going to be hard to kind of do that. So
yeah,
pure evil.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be pretty cool to steal one person from somebody, but we won't go down that road anyways. So on the clock, let's get the timer ready. Morgan, you have first pick overall. Who are you taking?
I mean, is there a doubt of who I'm going to take? Obviously, I'm taking Barry. Like he's the greatest hitter of all time. It's not close. I don't care steroids or not. He's the greatest pure hitter of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
Tough to argue.
Terrible pick. Moving on.
I would if I was 1-1, that was my pick, and it wasn't even close. So
yeah, no,
I can't argue with that.
I mean, greatest hand-eye coordination you can argue ever.
Most feared hitter. You want to throw that in there?
I mean, we've spent hours on our podcast alone laughing at Barry Bonds statistics. So it's not. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, Matt. Should I just pen him in now or what?
I'm not taking Griffey. I'm actually taking another center fielder by the number 24. I'm taking Willie Mays.
Of course you are.
The smarter
definition of a 5-tool player. Yeah, too high not to take Willie Mays.
Agree. All right.
Awful pick. Who takes Willie Mays? Come on.
If he ever dropped to 5, I was going to take him, but there's no way he's dropping to 5. All right, Harrison.
I'm taking Ted Williams. I'm going to the outfield and going Teddy.
Nice.
Good. Another left fielder. Sweet.
All righty. Brian, you are on the clock. Altuve?
I'm going to take the greatest baseball player, Babe Ruth. Higher WAR than Bonds. So,
look at him using WAR.
Starting pitcher or right field?
Right field.
Okay.
Smart.
I love the fact that WAR just came out. Just saying.
I am going to take a right fielder as well. This is my favorite baseball player of all time. This guy is an absolute beast, and it's Roberto Clemente. It's not even
Trot Nixon.
Look at he's my 1B.
Oh, just hold on. I got Carl Everett for center. So
oh, nice.
I mean, they said like Clemente's ball would sing when he threw it in from the outfield. Like Mazeroski was like, I ain't catching that thing. Like,
hell no.
Nope, all set. You can miss the cut every time. I'm not catching it. So, all right, Sean, 2 picks to you. Who are you taking?
Yeah, so I think at 6, I'll go left field. I'll do Ricky Henderson at 6, set the top of the lineup. And then at 7, I'll go right field and Hank Aaron.
All picks.
Look at that. Hank Aaron, a 2nd-round pick. Talk about value.
Yep, that's right, huh?
Sorry. I'm trying to keep up here. I'm going to go Goodness gracious, this one's hard. I'm gonna pick a starting pitcher right away. I'm gonna take Bob Gibson.
Sick.
Morgan, he wasn't getting back to you.
Yeah, no.
Okay, Brian.
On me. I'm going to take Lou Gehrig.
Nice.
Most of my picks are based on clutch performance and how they perform under pressure. Ruth was insane in the playoffs. He hit 20 over his average. Gehrig was even more insane in the playoffs. His career stats are unbelievable.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
You
only had
put
to
him in
play
the
like
World
4
Series.
games to win a World Series, so.
So you put him in
I
the
mean-
World Series. He hit 520 something in the 1928 World Series. It was insane.
Just swinging a
Multiple World
telephone
Series
pole.
MVPs.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All right, back on to Harrison.
All right, I'm setting the top of the order. I'm taking Ty Cobb in center field.
All right. Okay. I mean, highest career average. Hard to go against that.
And a nasty son of a bitch, too.
All right, Matt, back to you.
I'm gonna go with Roger Clemens.
Oof, good choice.
7 Cy Youngs, kind of.
Yeah, not in the hall, but should be.
Yeah, I mean, neither's a round, pick number 1, round 1.
Yeah, neither is
Yeah.
1-1.
Well, our rounding third bracket we've been doing for the racket for the the records, MLB records,
Yeah.
also suggested by Morgan, is Pete Rose and Barry Bonds in the final. It's like both guys not in the hall. It's like this is silly. It's
This sport's
just
awesome.
dumb. Right?
Yeah, MLB always gets it right. Don't worry about it.
Always.
Yeah, they're great at marketing too. All right,
What?
Morgan, you got 2 picks. Who do you
I got 2 picks. Well, I'm gonna take Mickey Mantle for my center fielder.
Hate that.
Just him and Bonds in the same lineup is just scary. And then I'm gonna take Randy Johnson as my starting pitcher.
I love it.
So
Love Randy Johnson.
Who doesn't? Okay, back to you, old Matt.
All right. I don't think this guy would get back to me. I'm going to take A-Rod, but I'm going to put him at 3rd.
Ooh, all right.
A-Rod. All right.
I think he would have made it back to you.
So I can take him as a shortstop.
He was not
though,
even
right?
on my list. So
I mean,
I can take A-Rod as a shortstop. All right, back to Harrison.
back around to me. I'm taking Stan the Man, and I'm putting him at first base.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
That's my boy.
All right. All right, back to Brian.
I'm taking my closer. I'm taking Mariano Rivera.
That's probably pretty smart.
Unanimous Hall of Famer.
I don't think any of the other closers come close to what he can do.
No,
Oh,
with one pitch.
I
Silly.
agree with that fully.
Just make sure he's not facing the Red Sox.
I'm going to take. I'm gonna take. I'll take Griffey in center.
Oh, you bastard.
I know. I really surprised he's still there.
All right, I got 2, right?
Yep, that's how snake drafts
take-
work, Sean.
I'll take Mike Trout for center field.
Horrible pick.
And
Trouty.
then I'll take Mike Schmidt at third base.
Nice.
Much better pick.
Okay, I'm gonna go in my second starter here and go Pedro Martinez.
Fuck.
It's a solid choice.
Sorry about it.
That pick doesn't suck.
That doesn't suck at all.
All right, Brian, back to you.
Mm. think I'm going to go ahead and take George Brett at third
nice
base. I probably could have gotten him 4 or 5 rounds later.
You said at third, correct? Yep. Okay. Harrison.
Boy, do I go pitcher or no? I'm gonna go behind the plate and I'm gonna take bench. And I'm gonna protect.
My next pick. Son of a.
I'm gonna grab a value pick there with bench early on.
Yeah. Machu.
I'm gonna go with my second starter just to get out of the way, and I'm gonna take Greg Maddux.
Oh, that was who I was debating with. It was either bench or Maddox.
Nice one. All right. Morgan.
Oh, what to do here? I think I'm going to take Ichiro.
Ooh.
I
Yes.
like that pick.
I'll complete my outfield with Mickey, Ichiro, and Barry.
Jesus, could you
But yeah,
imagine?
Mike Trout's such a terrible pick. Mike Trout's awful in that round, but Ichiro.
I mean,
Ichiro's got
Ichiro.
4,000 career hits in both Japan and MLB.
seriously.
And he throws about 150 miles an hour.
He's leading off for Barry Bonds. I think he's
Yeah, no,
gonna.
It's,
I mean,
yeah,
I
fine.
sent you the link where Andrew Jones has better stats than Mike Trout.
Yeah,
at this
that
game.
it is nuts.
Andrew Jones,
So-
19 through 30. If I didn't get as high of a center fielder pick, I would have taken Jones later on, just because his defensive of WAR is outrageously high.
Even his offensive stats are there too, though. Like that's the thing. Like he hasn't even gotten consideration for the Hall of Fame, right?
Well, like he was dominant for over a decade, and it's like
Yeah,
how
I
do
don't-
we
I don't
punish a guy
understand
for making it to the show at 19? It just blows my mind. Like,
Yeah.
like
All right.
Yeah,
Morgan, your
longevity is a bad thing. You've been around too long.
yeah.
second pick for you, Morgan.
I'm gonna get my third baseman. I'm taking Brooks Robinson.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Back to Matt.
All right, I'm gonna go catcher behind the plate, Yogi Berra.
Okay, Harrison.
Maybe a little early, but I'm going to go second base and I'm going to take Joe Morgan.
Nice. Okay, Brian.
I will also go second base and take Hornsby.
Good one. That guy's career average is off the chains too.
Yeah, he hit a little in his day.
Yep. I'm also going to finish off my outfield and go with Pete Rose. So I'll take Rose, Griffey, and Clemente in my outfield.
Yeah.
You guys will hit.
Yep, that's what I'm going for. Okay, Shawnee, 2 for you.
Let's see. I don't know. I'm kind of like Harrison. Like I should take a starter here, but like I don't want to.
I keep avoiding it.
But at this point, I'm like there's a lot of depth at that.
There's
It's like
so
at
many.
this point, if it's not going to be like Pedro or Randy Johnson or those guys, like it might as well wait. I don't know how much. I could probably last a little bit longer here, but I'll take Rod Carew at second base because I need a second baseman. Imagine Ricky Henderson 1 and Rod Carew 2 in a lineup.
Yeah.
That'll work.
OBP of a million.
And then I'll take Gary Carter behind the plate.
All right.
Oh, I like that pick.
That's a good pick.
Oh my god, I'm an idiot.
Nobody's arguing.
Explain.
I'm writing down everybody's picks, and I didn't put shortstops in for a position, and no one's picked one yet, so I haven't kept track of it. I was like,
I've got a draft board going, Nick, in a Google Sheet too, just tracking names.
oh, of course you do. So I'm doing this for nothing. All right, well, I'm gonna stop. Okay, who just picked that?
He was just wanting an excuse for his draft if it went poorly.
So Sean just went Carew and Carter, so it's on me.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm gonna take Ivan Rodchez. Ivan Rodriguez, baby.
I heard he was pretty good.
Cannon. Okay. Brian.
I'm taking Cal over Banks and Wagner and Jeter. I'm taking Cal Ripken.
I agree.
Don't hate it.
I mean, he never played. He was hurt all the time.
I know.
I got Gehrig and Ripken in my lineup. I'm good.
You don't even need a bench.
No, you took him.
Well played.
Okay, Harrison, go.
I'm going to finish off my outfield, and I'm going to take Tony Gwynn in right field.
Jeez. All right. Matt.
I will take Roberto Alomar at second.
Ugh.
With or without the spit?
Serious.
Oh,
Not a lot of depth.
You knew
there.
How are
somebody
you
was going to go
defending
there.
that pick, Matt?
How?
He's on my board. I have him as a top 6 second.
He is
baseman for
also on my
sure.
board.
He is.
He has to be on. I feel
Absolutely.
like he's got to be on your board.
He was good at the sport of baseball. That's how I defend that pick.
Him and Omar Vizquel up the middle, dude. I could watch those two all day.
Oh
All
my god!
day.
Just loop the highlights, and I'll just keep
Yeah.
going.
All right, Morgan. 2 for you again.
Did I miss something? Did Jackie go?
Jackie
For a second-
Robinson has not
Yeah.
gone.
He's
I
not gone.
I will take Jackie Robinson.
You're gonna take Frank Robinson too and just cap it out with all the
Well,
Robinsons?
he took
I
Brooks
already
Robinson
have-
last round.
That's what I'm saying. Then take
Just
Frank.
finish it off, man.
And then I will take.
You want to block those, Harrison?
Bots, baby.
All righty.
All right, who you taking?
I'll take Frank Thomas.
Oh, all right.
Oh man.
Frank the Tank. All right, Matt, to you.
I mean, I'll stick with the first base team. I'll go Pujols.
Oh, you
Wasn't even on my board.
700 dinges, baby.
Of course, he's not on my board.
Oh, yeah, he's a cat. No, I'm
They're
sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, come on.
I apologize.
Oh,
All right,
Wow.
Harrison, to you.
At some point, I got to take a picture here, guys. I'm looking at it, going, man, I don't have a picture yet.
I mean, you need two.
yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll go Cy Young. They named the damn award after him. That's good enough for me.
All right. Brian.
I will go pitcher as well, and I'm going to do Koufax.
I was going back and forth between him and Pedro. Koufax is
I mean, that's a steal in this round.
right.
Yes, it is.
Koufax doesn't have the longevity, but he was so dominant.
He was
Yeah.
I
so
feel like
good.
it was really only the first half of his career was average, and then the second half was dominant, and then he just hung him up.
Yep, he was like,
it
done.
was-
I'm
it was
31.
a
I'm
bizarre
done.
career.
Well, we found out he had a UCL tear, right? And that's what kind of did it. And it just they didn't have Tommy John back then.
Yeah, right.
It was an elbow issue, I'm pretty sure. But all right. My pick, I'm gonna go shortstop, and I'm gonna take him, Morgan. I'm sorry, Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks at short.
It's fair play.
Don't hate that.
I mean, I don't hate anybody's picks, to be honest. There's 6 of us. Like these teams are
No,
so
like,
I mean,
there aren't-
this is
there
all
aren't any bad
time.
picks
It's
here.
really hard to have a bad
Yeah.
pick.
There's no
Absolutely.
bad picks here.
I mean, outside of Roberto Alomar, but
All right.
Ouch.
We got Sean.
I will for the first one. I'll take. I still need a shortstop, right? In a first,
Yep.
I'll take Miguel. I'll take Miggy at first base.
I thought you were about to say Miguel Tejada.
No,
Wow, that would have been a pick. That would have been a pick.
no, no,
Came into
Miguel
the league
Cabrera.
at 38. Won a
I'll
home
take
run
Miguel
derby and then
Cabrera.
retired.
And then I'll take John Smoltz, the closer, though.
Nice. Smoltzy. Was it 200 wins and 50 save or over 100 saves, something like that, right? Him and Eckersley are the only ones to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah,
Something like that.
154 saves, but I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was 200 wins and 150 saves. I think it was. All right. I'm gonna go. Ooh, do I take another Cub at second base or not?
Might as well. If you're not going to pick all Royals, go all Cubs.
I'm debating. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll take Ryan Sandberg at second.
Not bad. All right, back to Brian.
Yep.
I'm gonna take my backstop. I'll take Carlton Fisk, the original Pudge.
That's a good one. Okay, Matt, what do you need? Matt needs a shortstop, left fielder,
Whoa,
right
whoa, whoa!
fielder.
Don't skip over me here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Harrison, my bad.
Jeez. I'm going to
Harrison's
take a
good.
shortstop, and I'm going to take the captain, Derek Jeter, because I can't get that jumping catch into the stands out of my head, Nick.
Most overrated play ever. God,
Which, as we
man,
pointed out last week, you couldn't even do because now he get thrown back by the net.
right? Which just okay. Sorry, Harris. I didn't mean to skip you. I'm sorry. I got excited. Matt, you need a left fielder, right fielder, relief pitcher, and a shortstop.
And shortstop. I'm gonna go shortstop. I'm gonna take Barry Larkin.
Love Barry Larkin.
Also a very solid pick. When I went to the Hall of Fame, it was him that got inducted. So I saw
that's-
a lot of his
that's super
stuff. So it
cool.
was pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
All right, Morgan.
I'm gonna take my shortstop, Honus Wagner.
Great one.
That
And
is
he's
a great
nasty in
late round
MLB The
pick.
Show.
I know who'd have thought he'd be here in the 8th round, but
I mean, yeah, seems a little late, but and I'm gonna take Trevor Hoffman.
oh, nice. The Hoff.
And I will take Eckersley.
Good pick.
Starter or closer?
Starter or closer?
Closer. I already have 2 starters.
Oh, you do.
Eckersley was my next pick. So I guess I'm going to pivot off of the Eckersley pick. I'm going to go. I feel like I'm just ignoring pitchers. It's like, who needs this team's going to hit so well? I don't need pitching.
Right. I'll take the Royals BP coach as my first starter.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm going to go way off the path here. I'm going to go to third base, and I'm taking Nolan Arenado.
No. God dang you. Oh, gross.
I'll get this guy an MVP, Nick. Don't you worry.
Brian, you better. The guy deserves one for crying
I
out loud.
know, poor guy.
I'm up.
Yep. You got
Feel
left
guilty
center
skipping
starters.
over Nolan and then the all times Christian Walter. But I'm going with Tom Seaver because I love that man. He's a beast. Tom Seaver's my second.
That
pitcher.
was my next pitcher I was
that-
going to take.
That was
That's a great
that was
pick.
I was going to take him, and I'm like, no, I'm going to take Arenado before somebody grabs him. Somebody being
Yeah.
Nick.
And that's where I was going with this pick. So now I have to pivot a little bit. I'm gonna
Yes.
take.
Is somebody going to jump up on the Jimmy Rollins train, or are we gonna?
Payroll.
I have my shortstop.
Oh goodness, what do I need? First base, third base, and a closer. Goodness gracious. I'll take. Gross. I'll take Wade Boggs.
Mr. Lemon Chicken.
You feel good about that pick?
No.
I can hear it. Man.
I mean, with some of those other options on the board, ugh.
But I mean, it's like position specific. Like I already have a lot of my positions packed up. I don't know who else at third base. I had another one I was going with, but he might be picked anyways. But actually, everyone has their third baseman.
I was gonna say I have 4 on my board still.
Dang it. Who were you? So everyone's got their third basemen. Who else did you have, Morgan?
I mean, Chipper,
Jones, Paul
Yeah,
Malter,
Chipper
Eddie
Jones,
Matthews.
Eddie
Eddie
Matthews,
Matthews.
Adrian Beltre was on my list. Ron
Adrian
Sano was
Beltre
on my list.
Ron Santos is a good one. What'd you say, Brian?
I had the same: Eddie Matthews, Chipper, Paul, and Adrian Beltre.
Yeah. I mean, Boggs had over 3,000 hits. I'll take that.
Boggs was on my list.
Yeah. So
No Scott
I mean,
Rowland.
Boggs wasn't bad.
3,000 hits, 3,000 beers. We'll call it,
Oh
each
my
road
God.
trip. It's fine.
That guy was an animal.
Right? All right, Sean, what do you need? Shortstop, 2 starters? Am I right?
Yeah. Yep. I'll do I'll get one starter out of the way here. Jim Palmer for one starter. Shortstop, let's see who else I have here that hasn't been taken. Has Robin Yount been taken or is he still there?
No, it's still there.
I'll take Robin
Robin
Yount for shortstop.
It's a great one, too. Definitely on my board.
10th round. Why not?
Anybody else have any other shortstops? Oh, no, we still have a couple people to pick, right? Brian, nope. No, everyone has their shortstop, correct, Harrison?
I believe so, yes.
Who else? Did anybody else have any other shortstops on their list that they thought?
I had Alan
Jimmy
Trammell
Trammell.
too.
I had Alan Trammell and Ozzie Smith.
Yeah.
See, Ozzie Smith defensively, no doubt, but I mean,
But he can't hit.
he's a liability with a bat for sure.
Ozzie Smith, I didn't put on my list, but he was the guy that was like my emergency if for some reason,
Right.
like it. But I didn't have him like written down,
Yeah, like on my list, Ozzy started off like second, and then I pushed him to third, then to fourth, then
Yeah.
to fifth, and he just
Yeah,
kind of like
I
fell
mean, he
off
kept
the
going
list.
down, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Mark McGuire at first.
that cheater.
Wow, that was
Oh, wow.
perfect.
Oh my god,
That was
great.
perfect. That was perfect.
Oh man, that was awesome. All right,
Wow, says the guy who picked Bonds.
all right, Brian, back to you.
Since both Matt and I need a left fielder, I'm going to go left field now. And I've got 3 on my list.
Take the one Matt wants because he's got
I'm
his one.
taking
He's
Manny
waiting on.
Ramirez.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Great pick.
I mean, hard to argue that one too. Man, he's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
God, he was.
He'll
fun
be
to
my
watch.
number 3 hitter.
All right, Harrison.
Hell, in some of these lineups, he might hit 6th. Like, look at some of the names.
Yeah.
I'm going closer, and I'm taking Goose Gossage.
Gossage was on
Good
my
one.
The
list.
guy was nasty, and he was also a nasty guy.
And one of the best stashes ever, other than
my
Raleigh
God.
Fingers.
I was gonna say outside of Raleigh.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, left fielder.
I got right field too.
You got right
Um,
field too.
I'm gonna go with Reggie Jackson.
Knew that was coming.
Good one. Okay, Morgan, is this is to wrap it up here for you, right?
Yeah, I need a starter and a catcher.
Yep.
I'll take Buster Posey as my catcher.
Oh, there it is. You knew somebody had to take Buster Posey.
I
was
mean,
looking at
I had Mauer too, but
I love Buster Posey.
I have 2 names on the catcher pool that weren't taken: the Pizza Man, Mike Piazza, and Josh Gibson.
You loved
I
yourself
thought
some
about
Josh
Gibson
Gibson.
He
just
does.
for Nick.
Yeah, I mean,
Nick loves himself some Josh.
Oh my
Gibson.
God, does he ever?
But the
Bill
stories around this
Dickey
guy
was my
said
other one on there.
yeah. But the stories around Josh Gibson, they say that like that guy had over 800 career home runs, but no one kept stats because he was black. Like it's just I don't know. The more I read,
I'm
about
not
it, the
knocking you.
more
I
I'm
just think it's. I'm just not surprised that you had him on the list. That's all.
yeah. Well, he was my emergency, but yeah, I got my guy. All right. So Matt, you just need a left fielder.
I mean, I'll take.
Wait, hang
my
on,
other
sorry.
pitcher,
well, you're
but-
sorry. You're the.
I say,
starter.
yeah, Morgan's not done yet. We got one more.
It might be personal for me, but I got to go with the run Madison Bumgarner had in San Fran. He's my guy. I know he's probably not going to be on anybody else's board, but I need a game. I'm taking Matt Bumgarner.
Yeah,
Vince
no,
will come back in the day too when he was filthy.
And he knows my catcher pretty well, so that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah,
they probably get along.
maybe, possibly.
Although,
All right.
does anybody get along with Madison Bumgarner? Really?
His dirt bike doesn't even get along with him.
Yikes!
All right, left field for Matt to end his draft.
All right. Did Yaz go?
Yaz is on the board.
Yeah, as is.
Yeah, we'll take Yaz and wrap it up.
Okay, Harrison, your last data.
Last starter. Oof.
Verlander.
He was also on my board.
I'm gonna say. I mean, hey, I'm not a bad person on the board. I was really leaning towards Chris Sale, but I think I'm gonna wrap
Kurt
it up.
Schilling.
Yeah. Although to the Madison Bumgarner pick, if I need a game, I would take Kurt Schilling. I would absolutely would.
Fair.
I'm gonna take Walter Johnson to wrap it up.
Okay, Brian, you need a reliever.
No, I don't. I have
Oh,
Mariano
center
Rivera.
fielder. Sorry, you did. You're right. Center fielder.
I need somebody to lead off as well, so I'm going to skip over Joe DiMaggio, and I'm taking Andrew Jones.
Nice. Great value pick, Brian.
Yeah. Joe DiMaggio not picked. That's
I love Andrew Jones as a leadoff hitter too.
crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. And then for me, I need what do I need? I need a closer.
Yeah.
Eric Gagne.
Everyone has like one out there pick. Do I go John Rocker? Do I?
Nice.
Do I go John
You
Rocker?
do not. No. You're
if
losing
we're throwing batteries, John Rocker's my guy.
Did Billy Wagner go?
No, I'm taking him.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm taking Wagner. He's on my list. I also had Troy Percival on my list.
Yeah.
But
He had his day.
okay.
All right, Sean, bring it home. Jacob
Verlander.
Oh,
There it is. So no Nolan Ryan, no Christy
No
Mathewson.
Nolan Ryan.
I had Bob Feller. I had Roy
Warren
Halladay on
Spahn,
my
Steve
list
Carlton.
I had Steve Carlton on my list too.
Steve Carlton,
And
nice.
Phil Necro.
Yeah, crazy. All right, want to run down the teams real quick. So Morgan, we got Buster Posey, Frank Thomas, Jackie Robinson at second, Brooks Robinson at third, Honus Wagner at short, Ichiro in left, Mickey Mantle in center, Barry Bonds in right. These lineups are going to be ridiculous. Starting pitcher, Randy Johnson, MS, and Bumgarner, and his closer is Trevor Hoffman.
yeah.
That's gross.
That team would go at least 500.
Yeah.
This is going to be insane. But all right, Matt has got
Holy crap.
Yogi Berra behind the plate, Albert Pujols at first, Roberto Alomar at second, A-Rod at third, Yaz in left, Willie Mays in center, Reggie Jackson in right. His starting pitchers are Roger Clemens, Greg Maddux, and he closes out his games with Eckersley. Again.
Shortstop Barry Larkin.
Oh, shortstop Barry Lockers. That's right. Sorry, I have it off to the side because I
worries.
forgot to put it in the original list. Harrison's got Johnny Bench behind the plate, Stan Musial at first, Joe Morgan at second, Derek Jeter at short, Arenado at third, Ted Williams in left, Ty Cobb in center, Tony Gwynn in right, and then he has Cy Young, Walter Johnson, and Goose Gossage for his pitching rotation. Brian's got Carlton.
I put my lineup in your chat feed there.
Oh, you actually put like how you would hit him?
Yeah.
Oh, man, look at that.
Oh my god! All right, so he's got Andrew Jones leading off in center, George Brett hitting second at third, Ramirez batting third and left, Babe Ruth in right hitting fourth, Gehrig fifth at first, Hornsby sixth at second, Ripken at short hitting seventh, Carlton Fisk catching, hitting eighth, and then Koufax pitching, and Tom Seaver, and then Rivera closing it out. Like,
I love seeing Carlton Fisk hit 8th. I mean, that's ridiculous.
right? I have Ivan Rodriguez behind the plate, Mark McGuire at first, Ryan Sandberg at second, Ernie Banks at short, Wade Boggs at third, Pete Rose in left, Ken Griffey Jr. in center, Roberto Clemente in right, and then no one's going to get a hit against me because I have Bob Gibson, Pedro Martinez. There go the distance. And then I have Billy Wagner closing it out. And then to end it, Sean has Gary Carter behind the plate, Miguel Cabrera at first, Rod Carew at second, Robin Yount at short, Mike Schmidt at third, Ricky Henderson in left, Mike Trout in center, Hank Aaron in right, Jim Palmer, Justin Verlander, his starters, and John Smoltz, the closer. So I'm going to post I will have you guys send me what your actual lineup would be, just kind of how Brian did it in the chat. You guys can just send it to me in Messenger. And then I'm going to post it on the rounding third and then just choose a react button for people's votes on who they think is the best lineup. And then we'll just go from there. Just a little fun competition. Nothing on it because I don't have any money to give you. So
Who are you most surprised that didn't get picked?
DiMaggio for me.
DiMaggio, probably.
DiMaggio for sure.
Yeah.
Frank Robinson was another one.
Mm-hmm.
And Vladdy, I thought might go.
He was on my board. I had struggled.
was
I
on
almost
the
took him in
board,
right field,
sure.
but I took Gwynn.
I had on my board that didn't get picked. I had Guerrero. I had Willie McCovey, and then Eddie Murray. I mean, Eddie Murray was 500 guy, right? Switch hitter, both sides of the plate. I mean, he was good back in his day, but I mean, Bob Feller for pitchers, he never got touched. I mean, a lot of pitchers. I mean, that was deep, and we only went 2. But
On my board, just for nostalgia, I had Gary Sheffield.
I had
love it.
Sheffield.
yeah,
He was on the board.
I also had Biggio.
yeah, I had Biggio as well.
Yeah, I don't hate the BGO.
I had Jimmy Fox, Jeff Bagwell, and Jim Tomey all at first
Yeah.
that I
Tomey,
thought
yeah.
about.
Did he get over 600?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just country strong, man. Just
Oh, yeah. Backwoods.
yeah.
Willie Stargell. I mean, I don't know if he's top, whatever the math is, top 100, but I mean, he was consistent in his day too. I don't know. Yeah.
Nolan
Anybody
Ryan's
else
a tough
have?
one for me.
Yeah. We've talked about him a lot too on the podcast, just saying that, like, yeah, he did it for 30 years, but he never won a Cy Young. Like, even when his 383 strikeout season, he didn't win a Cy Young. Like,
Which is absurd. I mean, I don't know how you throw 7 no-hitters, 5,000 Ks, over 300 wins, and never have put together a season that won a Cy Young. I mean,
you
you
can't
talked
get a-
about those stats that you'd love to have. The no-hitters, that's a stat I'd love to have. You just had the 7 greatest days of your life all the
Yeah.
time. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
What is it? Yogi Berra is like catching a perfect game's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I've done it twice.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's just, I mean, 7 no hitters is nuts.
Yeah.
It just, yeah. And you 383 strikeouts in one season, and you don't win the Cy Young. What else do you have to do? Hit? I mean,
No Otani, huh?
yeah, no Ohtani. Sorry,
And I-
buddy.
And a pitcher I had on my list that I was surprised we didn't see.
But the
go
crazy
was,
thing
was
about
Kershaw.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Kershaw, I had on
Kershaw,
my list too.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
No,
yeah,
I was
he was
just-
on my list.
I was just going to tie it home with the Nolan Ryan thing. Not just did he not win it, he only came in second one time.
Right.
That's crazy.
It's awful.
Like, it's not like he had all these runner-ups either. He had one runner-up.
Yeah, it blows my mind. But all right, you guys want to stay on for the free agent talk? You're more than welcome to.
But real quick on Nolan Ryan.
All right, back to Nolan Ryan.
Guy wins 20 games twice in his career.
Yep.
I mean, that's the hard part. Like, Nolan Ryan had the vanity stats. He had the Ks. He walked a gazillion people. But his lifetime record is 324 and 292. Like, granted, partially a victim of being on teams that weren't very good a lot. But he didn't have those seasons where he jumped off the board as like the best guy clearly in baseball.
But just think the amount of decisions he had. Like, who I mean, that's almost 700 decisions, right?
Yeah, he started 807 games and got 773 decisions. I mean, he
That's so crazy.
got the win or the loss. Pretty
That's
much
almost
every
as
time.
wilder stat.
Well,
That
and
is
what's
right.
even more
crazy,
amazing is that complete games. The guy threw 222 complete games.
Jeez.
Like
So
almost
A fourth of his game
like,
is
like a
almost.
fourth of his games, he's going the distance,
Yeah.
roughly.
yeah, basically 1 in 4. He went the distance.
And then the fourth of the games he went the distance, he threw a no hitter. like, good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, not
Another
700
reason to be
decisions, 600
against
decisions. I said that
AAU and
backwards.
travel ball. That guy played 4 sports growing up, and his arm lasted forever.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. That's
I also thought about Kerry Wood, but
Kerry Wood.
that would have been a personal pick as well.
Yeah.
He's in the record books too, 20 strikeout game. I remember watching that, man. That was insane.
That was fun.
Crazy.
Then you had Mark Pryor come up behind him. He was also the next big thing, and then that guy's arm went to trash.
I
I was going to say,
know.
and how'd their arms hold up?
Not
great.
That's fine. The Red Sox picked him up when his arm wasn't any good, so that's fine.
Yeah,
But if
and
I
Matt
recall-
Clement, you got Clement too.
Oh yeah, Matt Clement.
Yeah.
But those were who was the manager of the Cubs back then?
Oh, was it Dusty?
I was
It
gonna say,
might have
those-
been Dusty.
That was-
I think
that
it
was
was
Dusty.
Dusty.
I'm
that was
pretty
Dusty.
sure.
And what is watch Dusty's track record? What does he do? He ruins young pitchers.
Finally got his ring.
He did.
Well,
Took him
speaking
forever.
of arms holding up, DeGrom's gone off the Mets. How long are Scherzer and Verlander going to hold up for them? They all
Verlander has a brand new arm. He's fine.
Better than DeGrom.
It was not Dusty Baker. It was Don Baylor.
Oh,
Oh, that's right.
Who could forget?
Dusty was only part of that tenure.
Yep, Don Baylor. But yeah, name for the past there. Yeah, I think Verlander's fine. He's got a brand new arm. I think he's fine. I don't know. You just reunite Scherzer and Verlander back to the old Tiger days, and those guys are just workhorses. They're gonna be
Those,
fine.
yeah, those guys are horses.
I mean, Tommy John now is like ACL for an NFL athlete. It's an oil change. Like it's just change the oil, get it right, and get the car back on the road. It's crazy.
To come off a UCL surgery and still throwing 103, like I think we're okay. I
Yeah.
think we're good.
Modern medicine is insane. Like
Yeah, it's insane. Absolutely. Yeah, so like I said, we'll throw those teams out. I'll have those guys send me what their lineups would be. We'll throw them out just for friendly. I just want to see who thinks they drafted the good team. It's all only for bragging rights. So, you guys can come on here every week and harass us and, just rub it in our faces, but it's fine. It was fun. Like I said, you guys can definitely stay on. We're going to talk free agents a little bit. So DeGrom signs in Texas, 5 years, $185 million. I mean, Texas making a splash here. They also went and got Heaney. They signed him back into the rotation guy. So, and I don't know if the Rangers are done, to be honest. What do you guys think?
No, probably not. I mean, strategically, my guess is you go out and you sign a guy like DeGrom early to show the rest of the free agents that we're for real, that we're trying to make a splash. So I would be surprised if they are done. I expect them to go out and, I mean, you saw the kind of minor splash last year, right? With Seager, with
yeah.
Simeon. I mean, John Gray was supposed to be a whole lot better for them. But it was a name that they went out to get. So I would expect them to continue. We'll see. I mean, it's DeGrom leaving the Mets is going to suck for Mets fans just for a little while. I mean, he's DeGrom. I mean, he was what you tied your fandom to for the last handful of years.
Yeah, all 15 innings of it.
No, I know. I mean, the jokes can be made and they're valid. I mean, they're valid jokes to make, but at the end of the day, like, you always went back to the fact that, like, yeah, but if he comes back, if he's healthy, if he comes back, like there was, now you don't have that to come back to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's emotionally you're kind of tied to it, but we'll see.
I mean, now that he's gone, do you think they score more than like 2 runs a game?
Yeah,
'Cause
dude.
that's
He
all
was
they
like,
ever seem to score for him.
buddy,
Yeah,
he was, you know who?
Oh my God.
You know who it reminded me of? Is it was like clockwork. Like the Mets could be on the biggest offensive hot streak of all time. DeGrom starts, they'd get like 3 hits in 1 run. It was unbelievable. But you know who else they did it to? Well, not them, but the Red Sox used to do it to Tim Wakefield all the time. And it used to drive me nuts because Wake would like knuckleballs can only do so much. And Wake would go out and throw a, quality start
innings.
and would lose like 3-1. It's like you can't get the knuckleball or 4 runs. Like Pedro doesn't need the 5 runs you're going to give him. Give Pedro the 2 runs.
right.
Like
Yeah.
that used to drive me nuts.
Yeah,
think,
I was honestly surprised that DeGrom signed with another team just because I wasn't sure how the teams were going to attack the money figures with
Yeah.
his durability issues. Like that was my thing. Like
Right.
the Mets, I thought had the upper hand because they know what he's been through, and other teams are kind of just like taking a shot in the dark and not knowing what you're going to get. You know what I mean? And just what are they, 37 a year? Is that what it breaks down to?
Yeah. 37.
I mean, it's a pretty big risk you're taking on a guy hoping to stay healthy. I mean, I hope it pays
$30
off
to
for
start.
him, but
I mean, also, I think for him, you got to take into account like he knew he was going into unrestricted free agency this year. So why am I going to push through this little tweak right here where it's like I can get a bag this offseason?
yeah,
I agree.
Oh, I agree.
And I think that probably, and I certainly don't know this, but I wonder if that was the mindset behind closed doors and in the clubhouse. If that was his mindset, be like, you know what, guys, like I'm just going to make sure I'm fully healthy. I'm not going to risk a setback. I'm not going to. And if that was the mindset and that was the discussion, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets were like, you know what, then go somewhere else then. Like if you're not going to, if you're not going to put them on the table for us now, like you're going to want us to give you $40 million a year for a new contract. So I don't know. I guess that might maybe connect a few dots. I thought the Mets would push harder for it. It seemed like they were already probably in discussions with Verlander at the time, which would make sense because it was pretty quick that once he went to Texas and signed,
they
had a report.
snapped over to Verlander. I really don't think that they were honestly overly in on DeGrom. I
agree.
think they knew DeGrom wasn't coming back. He didn't. I've heard that he didn't like playing in New York overly too much, like the whole
Yeah.
New York thing. So I think they knew he wasn't coming back. So right when he signed, it was like, all right, put pen to paper with Verlander. Let's get this rolling.
Yeah. From what I read today, the Verlander, DeGrom got the offer from the Rangers, and the Mets refused to even put a best and final in front of DeGrom. They just kind of wished him luck and moved on. It's because it sounds like they were already in their mind. They were planning on who is next. But to go back to the Rangers side of this, I look at this as a pretty bold move for the Rangers. You've got a young core. You brought in a couple of kind of solid veterans to surround them with last year. And now you are banking on DeGrom being that guy to get you over the hump. Now, if he's healthy, you look like a genius for bringing him in. If he's not, you have basically set a young organization back 5 years by investing $37 million in a guy who's not going to give you that ace level performance because he's not out there enough. This is one of those moves I feel like it makes or breaks the future of the organization for 5 to 10 years. Because if you whiff on this one, you set them way back. You hit on it, you look like a superstar, and this is a contending team. But that's a big one, and that's you're putting a lot of money on a horse that has not necessarily shown he can get out there often enough to make a big impact.
Yeah,
I don't think they're done getting pitching. I think they go and get another pitcher.
I agree. Rodon still out there.
I was gonna say, I think they're gonna go try and get Rodon and get him, so they have a durable second option right after DeGrom.
And John Gray's not a horrible third
For
starter.
a third starter, no.
Well, and you got Martin
Martin
Perez.
Right.
And look at that AL West. Like, got Houston, you got Seattle now. Now you have Texas, who like you can still make a wild card as a third team in a division, but trying to play catch up. And you got to keep in mind they built that new stadium. And think about how much money they lost because the first year it was open was COVID. So no new revenue, no new people coming in. You got to put asses in seats, and that's signing DeGrom and putting money into these guys does.
And I think they have to change something because they're getting the balanced scheduling this year, right?
Right.
So they're not going to get to beat the A's 25 times in a season.
It was funny. There was a stat a couple of weeks ago I put out. It was like Globe Life Park has seen a no-hitter. They've seen the World Series, and they saw it was something. Oh, it was Aaron Judge's 62nd home run, and none of these were done by the Rangers. It's like,
Yep, not one.
Well,
That's tough.
oh well. Yep. All right.
But so on that point, though, given what the Rangers have done so far, are they now a playoff contender, or are they not there yet?
They're still third place in the AL West.
Well, it doesn't mean you're not a playoff contender. So, like, is this a wild card team? Like, are they at least a wild card team, or are they still on the outside looking in?
I think they're a fringe wild card team.
I think
I'm
so
with
too.
Morgan.
I mean, I think they kind of knew too. I mean, it's pretty obvious they felt, which I think we all probably felt, that they needed pitching going in. It was a team that started off slow, but like you look at them in August, they led the American League in runs scored in August. Like they could hit, they could get guys on base, and they could score. It was stopping the other team from scoring, which was a major problem for them. So I'm with Morgan 100%. I don't think they're done, and specifically, I don't think they're done with pitching. So we'll see. Even as constituted now, I think it's a team that can win some ball games and compete for a chance at the wild card. But you know, we'll see what happens come spring training time. But
I mean, it's a
I think
3-team
they're on their
race,
way.
right? It's a 3-team race. Angels and A's won't do anything.
No.
I mean,
yeah, agreed.
they can't prove. It's the top three there. It's the
Agreed.
Astros, and then the Angels. I mean, not the Angels. The Mariners and the Rangers are fighting for that two spot.
Agreed.
I don't know if they're going to fight for it. I think the Mariners are going to run away with that.
They're not done either.
No.
I mean, that trade for Teoscar Hernandez was huge, and I think
But
Rodon ends up
Also,
there.
the Astros aren't done either. So
No, Judge goes to the Astros. And then, I think-
You heard it live right here.
Live, jumps the Astros.
I honestly think the Mariners are going to be the ones to land Carlos Rodon. You have Rodon, Castillo, Robbie Ray, and then George Kirby in that 4 spot. And George Kirby pitched his ass off in the postseason. That kid's legit, and he was a rookie. So I mean, I think the Mariners are going to do something else here, and they're in the market for one of the shortstops. So they're not done either. Speaking of shortstops, Trey Turner signs with the Philadelphia Phillies for $11,300. Former NC State Wolfpack shortstop. 11,300. Right place, right fit for Trey Turner? Question mark.
Right fit for Dombrowski. That guy can spend the hell out of money.
Yes, he can. He can mortgage the future to win right now like nobody else.
But I mean, if it is the right fit, and say they are this guy away from winning the World Series this upcoming year, it's worth the $300 million, right?
Oh yeah,
For
absolutely.
World Series.
Yeah.
So
I think with the culture that the Phillies built going to the World Series with guys like Schwarber and how Harper showed himself to be a leader this year, and they've got all these guys that just, I think anybody could fit in, but Turner's going to fit right in. He's going to bring a consistent bat. He's going to do all the small things well. He fields well, which is what they kind of lack in a big
Fastest
way.
guy in the league.
And he's going to do all the little things well for that team.
well, I think that Trey Turner fits pretty much anywhere. I mean, there's probably not a team he doesn't fit on, but I think the interesting part of this is that the Phillies were very kind of verbally or obviously in on Xander, and they quickly pivoted and went all over Trey Turner. And I feel like the rumors were that Bryce Harper and Trey Turner were very close when they were in Washington, and that there's the Bryce Harper effect in getting them to focus on Trey Turner and attract him there. I think that you add Trey Turner's bat and ability in the field to that lineup, because what he does do that they don't do is catch the ball.
Yep.
That defense is horrendous, and he's not. He helps you right up the middle, right out of the gate. Adds a very versatile bat in a lineup that's got a lot of guys that can do a lot of things, and that's a scary lineup because there's no easy outs. And one night they're going to beat you with base hits, next night they're going to beat you with home runs, next night they're going to beat you with doubles in the gap. You just don't know what you're going to get.
And then Aaron
They're
Nola
gonna
throws
keep
it like a
coming.
2-hit shutout. And
Right, and then exactly. Then you never know. Like they've got so many different ways they can beat you now.
I think honestly, he also patches that gap that Bryce Harper's out for, because Bryce isn't coming back till the end of May, because he did have Tommy John, so which is crazy. But I think Turner helps ease that pain a little bit, and can keep the team afloat for a month and a half if he comes out hot. So
But
Well,
so
he's
on
had-
the shortstop carousel, so if Trey Turner goes to Philly for 11,300, and the Phillies were an obvious team chasing a shortstop, what does that leave for openings for the other guys? And where does that put the value of a guy like Correa or Bogarts if you're looking at, Trey Turner got less than 30 million a season. Correa was looking for 35 million a season.
Not worth it to me. I don't think Correa is 35 million a year. But-
I heard Turner turned down a
The shortstop
offer from-
carousel LA. I saw that meme today on how to make money. Play shortstop for the Dodgers for a
I
year.
just saw that too.
Turner
Yeah,
gets
that's
300 million. The
Seager.
year before Seager gets 325 million. The year before that,
Yeah.
Machado gets 300 million. None of them for the Dodgers.
Right.
I heard Turner turned down an offer from San Diego that was $41 million more for the same years. But I heard a big selling point for him was Philly was gonna stick him at shortstop, and San Diego was like, maybe you'll play first base or the outfield for us. Like, we don't know. Like, but I heard that and I thought that was pretty interesting.
I don't understand why you wouldn't put Turner. We've talked about, or Sean brought it up. Was it last
Put
week?
Tatis in the
before?
outfield.
Put Tatis
Or
in the
trade him.
outfield or trade him. That's exactly what Sean said. It's time for Tatis to go. I think he's been just an absolute headache in San Diego.
It's going right to New York.
Not just
He's
that.
fitting
I
great.
just think from a locker room perspective, I mean, you look at what you were able to do without him.
Mhm.
You went and traded for Soto. You signed Soto. You field a
Soto.
team that Tatis is supposed to be right in the middle of, and he isn't. And think about the frustration those players must have felt. It's like, God damn, man. Like, you didn't even play a game for us, and you're already getting suspended. Like, it's just not worth it. I mean, look at how far they went with him as a distraction. I mean, you take that distraction completely out. Like, and I'm not running the team, but good Lord, if I was, I think that's probably one of my first things to do is look who's willing. I mean, you're gonna be able to get right back what you gave up for Soto.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I just
Well-
think to me it's kind of you've outstayed your welcome or whatever that saying is at this point, because it's like you can't get on the field. I mean, what was it, Nick, that we saw a couple weeks ago? He's been a Padre for X amount of years and he's only literally played half of the games.
He's missed
Yeah.
almost exactly 50% of the games he
Yeah.
could have played in.
That's outrageous, and that's outrageous. And I mean, the talent is not to be argued. I'm not saying he's not talented. He's disgustingly talented.
No, but
But I think he needs a change of scenery, and I think they need to just be rid of him.
Well,
I
and
just think it would work for both sides.
and if you've got a chance to re-sign Soto
You take Soto
Exactly.
11 times out of
Oh
10.
my God, no
all day,
question. Yeah,
you
no
tell
question.
Fernando Tatis, thanks for your time, enjoy the East Coast, you're going somewhere else, and here's your bag and your Brinks truck, Soto, and welcome to San Diego
No,
long
yeah,
term.
no question.
Speaking of Soto, how much money do you think he's going to get?
500 million.
$1 trillion.
You think 500 was the number in my head?
And I think that's low. I think he gets just an absurd contract.
I agree.
but
It's gonna be
he's
so-
worth every penny.
For sure. But it's going to be so much money.
Here I am. I make 50 cents an hour, and we're talking about a guy that can make 500 million, dude. It's insane.
Well, I think you figure a guy like Soto, average annual value is going to be what, 35, 40 million?
40 is
So-
the floor.
And he's going to
I
sign for what, at least 12 years?
would say
That's
the floor of him is
480
40.
million bucks.
That's still low.
I mean, this is still
I
a whole
agree.
2 years out. It could be 50 million annually.
I know.
You know what I mean?
If it's under 50 million, I will be shocked.
God dang, man.
Right.
So much money.
I'll be shocked if it's under 50 million a year.
All right.
And they may backload it, but
But
All
think
right.
about that. Your competitive tax threshold is now a little over 200 million. I mean, you're already 20% of the way there. Actually, almost 25% of the way there, just with this guy. I mean, you're gonna have a hell of a time
It's just
Build-
money, Harrison.
building a team around him.
It's just money.
generational talent.
All right. So here we go. We'll go around the horn. Morgan, where does Correa go? Quick, go.
Boston.
Sean,
Seattle.
Harrison,
I like him in Seattle too.
Matt,
I'm joining the group, Seattle.
Brian.
I got no idea.
I think he goes.
I'm adding nothing. to
Why are
this.
you even here?
It's
I
fine.
mean,
It's fine. I think he's going to the Angels.
that also
Yeah.
checks out.
All right. Bogarts, where does he go? Morgan.
Seattle. I think he goes Seattle.
Okay. Sean.
Boston.
Harrison.
I still think St. Louis is gonna emerge.
I'm with you. Matt,
Boston.
Brian.
Didn't Poppy say he's coming back to Boston?
Well, if
think I
Poppy
heard
said
that.
it, must be true.
Must be true.
I'm saying St. Louis. Swanson, Morgan,
I think he's going to the Cubs.
Sean.
I say he's going to end up back in Arizona, where he was drafted.
Oh, with the Diamondbacks. All right.
Arizona's been reportedly in for Xander. I don't know why they want this big time shortstop, but supposedly they're in for it. I could see them making a run back at Dansby.
Got to compete for that fourth place spot in the NL West.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
Harrison.
I think he's with the Cubs, but I'll give Morgan that one. If not the Cubs, I think he goes back to Atlanta.
Matt.
Cubbies.
Yeah. Brian.
I'm thinking back home to Atlanta.
I'm on the fence. I think it's just, it's got to be Chicago. I think. I mean, Chicago's been very vocal about getting one of them. So I think one of the three end up in Chicago for sure.
And I feel like Swanson is he's the fourth guy on that list. The Cubs aren't going to attract. Obviously, they were never going to attract Turner. I think they'll have a tough time attracting Correa and.
I think
Xander
Correa
there,
is the
but
fourth
Swanson
guy on
might.
that list.
I do too. I'm with Morgan there.
Oof.
You think
Tough.
Correa, after the year Swanson just
I
had,
don't think
it's really tough. I think Correa's fourth as well.
Yeah,
Personally.
I always thought it was Turner, Correa, Bogarts, Swanson.
Dang.
Oof.
Maybe
Okay.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see St. Louis going in on it too.
And they've been eerily quiet. They're going to come
Which
in
is
at
always
some point,
scary.
right?
That St. Louis witchcraft, man. Hey,
Well, and they were like
Yeah,
pushing
true.
for a shortstop at the trade deadline, like hard. Like they were like vocal, like,
Yeah.
hey, anybody got a shortstop we can borrow, like just for the postseason?
mm-hmm.
Like they're in there
And
somewhere.
they've already got Arenado and Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not
Yeah.
losing an asset by having to trade for a shortstop, and
Yeah.
one of those three will end up in St. Louis, and we're just all going to be like, great.
Yep. Cody Bellinger goes to the Cubs. Hopefully regenerates his career there. I mean, the guy's still young. What did we say he was? He's 20,
25,
25, 26.
somewhere
Yeah.
in there.
I mean, the
Still
dude's
young
got
guy.
pop when he can meet the ball, but he's
He's like a great locker room guy too.
I mean,
I
he's
just think you need a change of scenery. I think it's a good place
Absolutely.
for him.
I mean, Cubs fans know how to put up with swings and misses. We had Hobby for a while.
Javi, Jason Hayward. You got them all.
Yeah.
I told you, Jason Hayward's replacement was Cody.
I feel like somebody called that one.
Yep. I think this is the most underrated signing so far. Josh Bell to the Guardians. I think this is a
That was a sneaky
great
signing.
move. I think this is a great move for Cleveland. Josh Bell brings another thumper other than Jose Ramirez to the middle of that
which they
lineup.
need.
Yes,
I always-
absolutely.
Desperately.
I always
needed.
thought the Indians would go after a guy like JD Martinez, that veteran professional hitter, but I think that's a great choice to have a true thumper that can, although not the wily veteran JD Martinez, is still a smart hitter.
I
And
saw
they can
Josh
still
Bell.
bring him in for-
I saw Josh Bell take BP from field level in St. Louis, and when I mean that dude hit his missiles, the sound off his bat just sounded different than everybody else on the Pirates when he was there. It was insane.
So I met Josh Bell in Portland when I was working recreation in Portland. The AA All-Star was at Hadlock Field.
Oh yeah.
And they split up all the guys and they go to like the Boys and Girls Club, Portland Rec and stuff like that. And Josh Bell and other guys were like right there and like was like taking pictures with the kids, signing autographs and stuff like that. So it was really cool. And then he just goes and wins the home run derby that night at Hadlock. So I mean, yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, not a free agent, but I kind of want to get everyone's hot take on this. The Yankees extend Brian Cashman for 4 more years. Why?
I can't.
Why? I'm not
mean, that's-
even a Yankees fan, and I'm mad.
I was going to say it's good news for Red Sox fans, but
Right, but it's just like, what's this guy doing? I don't know.
well, I think his next move, he's going to bring in Dave Roberts as their manager.
I mean, it is an upgrade from Aaron Boone, so
Is it really though?
Goodness, I don't know. I mean, we've been calling for both of their heads on this podcast for a while. Like the fact that they cleaned house at the beginning of this year, they got rid of the entire coaching staff and kept Aaron Boone. We were just like, why? Like if you're gonna clean house, clean house.
Because them not being able to get through the first round of the playoffs was clearly the coaching staff's fault, but not Cashman and Boone. So what we
Right.
got to do is get rid of all those guys under Cashman and Boone, and then they'll be able to really make it
To the
into
second round.
to make
To
it
the
into the World
CS.
Series and bring a championship back to New York. That's the thinking behind them. I don't understand it. I think Boone's worse than Cashman. I don't think Cashman's the worst GM in the league. I think Boone's the worst manager. But it's not shit on Boone Day. It's shit on Cashman Day. So we
But
can get
fair enough.
Cashman, but
I-
Boone gets a pass from me today.
Yeah, I
Isn't
struggle with
Judge
it
pissed
because
with Cashman as well right now. Like,
Well,
why are you re-upping Cashman if you think you have a chance at Judge?
that was I texted the guys, said the same thing yesterday. It's like that's the part that makes no sense to me whatsoever. So, I mean, we'll see how it impacts Judge, but that's the part that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's partly. I think it's Steinbrenner, the ownership. I think it's their history of keeping the same crew together. That's got them these big names. They bring in money. They bring in all the marketing, the revenue. Everything looks good on that aspect. So they want to keep that status quo, even if the product on the field doesn't result
I
in a
agree.
title.
I
It's
agree.
not
and
George
I
up there anymore. You know, they're not over. Like Hal's not pushing for the World Series like George was, and I think it's
No,
just
and I think ultimately, I think they look at Cashman and they look at Boone and they look at them as puppets. They're just
Yeah.
going to say yes, sir, to whatever
Yep.
whatever Steinbrenner wants,
Mhm.
and he's not going to risk bringing somebody else in that's going to talk back and have a different way of thinking because
Right.
that's he doesn't want that.
couldn't agree
and
more.
Which
I
at
think
the
you got
end
to
of the
look at
day,
Brian.
go ahead.
Oh, so you got to look at Brian Cashman's entire career. He's been with the Yankees since he was an intern in 1986.
Right.
Like George Steinbrenner handpicked him out of college to work alongside of him. He worked his way up through the ranks, became assistant GM in '92, took over the team in '98 when Bob Watson retired. So basically, he's been GM since '98. He inherited the team that won in '98, '99, and 2000. That was Bob Watson's team that he was basically his right-hand man for. So really, what has Cashman done for you? He got to oversee 3 championship teams that were built by his predecessor. He won one in 2009, and then he's overseen some of the most painful exits in baseball history, like the 03 World Series, the 04 ALCS. He's consistently not come through for you. So in his tenure, you can really only give him credit for 1 World Series and a bunch of historic embarrassments.
Hall
But
of
he's still
Famer.
there.
Hall of Famer.
Which is the difference between Hal and George at ownership. George
Absolutely.
it was a revolving door. It didn't matter if it was the manager, the coach, the GM, whoever it was. It was a revolving door under George. And Hal is stuck with this guy like a company man for way too long.
He's Jerry Jones. He's keeping his guys. He loves his guys.
Ooh, nobody wants to hear that, Morgan. Come on.
Jerry
I
Jones.
mean, Cowboys and Yankees are the same franchise, basically.
You're not,
Oh, they
for the
totally
last
are.
10, 15
You're not
years.
you're not wrong.
They're two teams that are run by these crazy owners that make no change, that are still riding all this great history, but
Nostalgia.
nothing
Yeah.
lately.
Yeah. Blue Jays hired Don Mattingly.
I like
So
that.
he's on the bench for the Blue Jays like that. Astros are in on Wilson Contreras.
It's not even fair.
I mean,
What?
Yeah.
let's just take the best free agent catcher and put him
And their biggest weakness hitting was
Yeah.
Maldonado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me too is the ripple effect if that happens. It wouldn't shock me if Contreras signs in Houston if Vasquez ends up back in Boston.
They're also looking. The Cardinals are in on him too, so it's going to come between the Cardinals and the Astros, I think, because
Yeah.
obviously Molina needs a
Some
replacement.
days off.
Those are
Yeah,
those are big shoes to fill.
yeah,
Trying
absolutely.
to come in and take place of Yachty.
The other move by Seattle last week, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Colton Wong was traded from
Yeah.
Milwaukee to Seattle for Jesse Winker and Abraham Toro. So, like we said, the Mariners aren't done. They're making a big splash here at some point, and I'm in for it. I'm here for it.
Well, I love the
Um,
fact that Winker was a mistake. Like that just did not work out. I love the fact they didn't let it drag on any longer. They made a move. They upgraded. Let Winker go somewhere else. Winker's got the guy can hit. He just for whatever reason, health and all that stuff, it just didn't work there. But I like the fact they didn't screw around. They made the move and made the replacement.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the Braves are the favorite to trade for Sean Murphy from the Oakland A's, which is kind of, I mean, who would they trade? Would they send Darno to Oakland and just upgrade at catcher, I guess?
Yeah, catcher's not a huge need for the Braves. I find that trade interesting.
I mean, you upgrade offensively, right?
You do, but not like a ton.
I don't think a ton. Yeah, I don't know by how much.
I don't get that one.
The Phillies just signed Taijuan Walker. Fresh, hot off the press.
Oof.
Boy,
Gotta love signing mid-show.
Goodness. And then the Blue Jays are in on Brian Reynolds, but that hot stove has kind of cooled down a little bit because Brian Reynolds requested a trade, and the Pirates were like, I think they
nope.
Right. At first they were like, okay, and then they're like, wait, what are we doing? Like, no,
Yeah.
you're staying here. So I don't think he's gonna get moved, but yeah. Pretty interesting there, but yeah, that's pretty much all I had for free agent stuff. And then obviously we have Brian's caption name, Crime Dog 2023. Fred
Love it.
McGriff gets the committee vote to go to the Hall of Fame. What do we think? I mean, is Fred McGriff deserving, first of all? Yes or no?
I think so. But I know Morgan's answer is going to be like, if Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame.
That's not even that is an issue itself. But my other issue is this committee. If you don't get on the first 10 years and then they put this special committee because they feel bad or the writers are old and whatever, like you still shouldn't get in. I don't like the committee being a secondary pick for you're in the Hall of Very Good at this point now with this committee.
Well, yeah, I feel like it went from the Hall of Fame to the Hall of Very Good. Now it's becoming like the Hall of Decent,
Career achievement.
Good, pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, Fred McGriff, I think we're talking about it. I think there's guys that have gotten in that are less deserving than him. I think he at least has the stats to justify being kind of one of those guys on the fringe. I don't hate him getting in because I loved Fred McGriff. Especially his videos with Tom Amansky showing all his defensive drills. I think he was a great player. Was he a Hall of Famer? In my mind, no. But he wasn't so far off that like I'm mad about it. I look at it and go, okay, like I can understand.
I think the nickname put him over the top.
Sure
Oh,
did.
100%.
Crime Dog.
For me, it's the helicopter finish.
Oh, I used to love
the
that.
no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Wild
Yeah.
finish.
Now, quickly, how many of you guys would mimic that in the playing backyard wiffle ball?
Oh, all the
All
time.
of us, right?
All the time,
Come on.
yeah.
All
All
of
the
us.
time.
Absolutely.
It was that one in Sheffield.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
But also, real
Yeah.
quickly, how many of you guys had McGriff on your board at first base today?
No one.
Nope.
No.
Morgan took my
I mean,
player from base.
I mean,
Nobody
it's a valid point. Like the
is.
Hall of Fame is supposed to be like the elite of the elite,
Yep.
right? That's how I view the Hall of Fame. It's not like, oh, hey, you played for 22 years, you accumulated 420 home runs, you hit 272, like that. That to me is not like Hall of Fame, but yet it's getting some of these guys in. But like leaving out guys with 762 career home runs and like it's silly. All of
And
it.
I don't mind comparing his stats to others in his era, dead ball era, live ball era, expansion, free agent and integration, and then the steroid era. Like whatever era it is, we can compare stats and hey, maybe his stats do line up, but he just never was the guy for me that deserved this.
Yeah,
No,
I agree.
So looking at his career stats right now, career batting average 284. He had 493 home runs, 1,550 RBIs, and what was that? 2,490 hits. Good numbers.
That sounds
Never
like a
finished.
$400 million player in this era right now.
No, never finished. No,
You ain't kidding.
guys, Guy's getting a 5-year, $100 million contract, but never finished better than fourth in the MVP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-time All-Star. 5-time All-Star world. He did win an All-Star game MVP. 3-time Silver Slugger, and he won the World Series in '95 with the Braves. A good career. A very good career, but
you didn't even hit those Hall of Fame milestones. You didn't get the 300 average. You didn't get 500 home runs. You didn't get 1750 RBIs. You missed all of those milestones. At 3,000 hits, you were short. I don't know. Very good player, sure.
Even the milestones, though, even hitting the milestones, maybe I'm going to be in the minority on this, but even a guy like Craig Biggio is in the Hall of Fame because he hit the 3,000 hits. But is Craig Biggio a Hall of Famer? Did Craig Biggio did he change the way the game was played? Was Craig Biggio the guy you looked at and you were just like, oh my god, Craig Biggio? He played for 21 years and he had one season of 200 hits.
And he was an afterthought at shortstops for almost all of his career compared to other shortstops.
Right. So it's even the milestones should come with some sort of reference to them.
That's fair.
For me, for reference, we talked about him earlier, Andrew Jones, a decade of pure dominance. Yeah. If you can do it for 10 years, I will take that player who was that good for 10 years over a guy who is pretty good for 20. Put him in the Hall of Fame because
Andrew Jones was tuned in baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Rock and launch.
Yeah, greatest defensive center fielder of all time, second behind Willie Mays. You know what I mean? It's just, so that's just my personal opinion.
And the hard part with Andrew Jones, he doesn't get enough credit for the defense because he made everything look easy. The ball that other guys were diving for, he was camped under. He was always
they had to go back and look at his stats to be wait. Was his defensive WAR really this high? Did he make it look this easy?
I would love to see the stat cast they do now of distance travels to catch the ball and the percentage.
10% chance of making the catch.
Right. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
And Andrew Jones is sitting on the ball roasted a marshmallow. He's like, oh, I got it. 5% catch.
You'd see a ball hit, and you swear, for sure that thing's down on the warning track, and Andrew Jones is sitting there having a frigging picnic lunch waiting for it. It just wasn't right how much ground that guy covered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's incredible.
And the basket catches, I love those things. He'd just be
everything was so easy.
Yeah.
Then the way he'd just flip the ball back to the infield to be 90 miles an hour underhand, it was insane. But
at 19,
go back,
at 19,
homering in the World Series,
just like Soto, following the same progression. Soto's following the same progression Andrew Jones had, and then you go back to Biggio. The struggle with that is that he said some of the stats, and the Sean mentioned maybe they don't mean as much because I look at Biggio, he was never the best player on his own team. He was never even the best second baseman in his own league. He was always a guy that he was there every day. He played hard. He played well enough. But he never blew you away. He was just there forever. He was a mainstay in Houston for so long.
Yeah, he was the longevity
stats. LeBron James.
Right.
Wow.
I'm not trying to take anything away specifically or particularly from Craig Biggio. It's just I look at those stats as a whole, and I'm like, I just don't look at that as okay, Hall of Fame. And it's baseball specifically has come to that point where it's to Nick's referencing the milestones. If you hit those milestones, it's an automatic in, which I think is just outrageous.
Yeah, 3,000 hits divided by 21 season only comes down to 142 hits a season. That's not, obviously he had more than 3,000, but I was just using that as
right.
But Jeter played 20 and had what, 3,500, 3,600?
Yeah, he's what is he, third or fourth all time? He's third or fourth all time in hits, right? It goes Rose, Cobb, and then it might be Jeter third. But,
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just it's hard because you look through, and I'm looking through some stats right now, and Fred McGriff has a better WAR. I know you're gonna appreciate this, Brian. Stick with me. Fred McGriff has a better WAR than 25 guys who are in the World Series. or in the Hall of Fame, I mean.
Man.
But of those 25 guys, a dozen of them I've never friggin' heard of. Like they're guys from so far back that you're looking at it going, who is this guy? Like, but there's so many guys that have like, a career WAR of 30, but he played in the 1890s and he was the best player of that time. It's like, all right, I get it, but
But his WAR is 52.6. Is that right?
Yeah, 52.6.
So somebody else made a mistake somewhere else. I mean, that can't
What's the
even be
problem?
in the.
But
That's the
those
problem.
guys,
You've
though,
got a bunch of guys with significantly lower or worse stats that are already in the Hall of Fame.
but those guys, Harrison, though, those guys, the guys you've never heard of that were the best players of their era, like they belong in the Hall of Fame. That's what the Hall of Fame is. The Hall of Fame should be enshrining the best players of their era. Like now, all of a sudden, we're just taking guys that were middle of the pack in their era, maybe slightly, more than middle of the pack. They were good players, but they weren't the best players of their era, but they just played long enough where they hit these milestones, and now we get them in the Hall of Fame. Like, to me, that's crazy.
Right.
Like, even though we've never heard of the guy from 1895, if he was the best player of his time, then he should be in the Hall of Fame. Am I crazy on saying that?
I mean, there's a reason he didn't get it on the first 10 years.
Yeah, it's
We're talking McGriff now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
it's baseball making up for the steroid era, trying to put in these guys to fit in because they don't want to put guys like Clemens and Bonds in. And obviously,
Right.
Kurt Schilling has said some stuff. So
Yazzie, what do you say?
you can Google it.
He
Just to
can't help
circle,
himself.
just to circle back to Derek Jeter, he is 6th on the all-time
Hmm.
list with 34.65. So you were right in the ballpark. It goes Rose, Cobb, Hank Aaron, Stan Musial, Tris Speaker, then Derek Jeter. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know. The whole Hall of Fame process is an absolute joke. We've said it, but I don't know how to fix it, other than taking it completely out of the writers' hands.
So
Because there's a lot of people that are voting that I don't think are qualified to vote. But I mean,
So
I'm
would
not
you want
saying I'm
somebody-
qualified. to vote
You
either.
should have
But
had to
that's what I
play
mean,
the
like, I don't-
sport.
yeah, would you like
Right.
it done? Would you like it done how the NFL does it, where it's a committee of guys that play the sport, coaches or coach the sport. You all go into a room and you bring up a name. Like, let's just baseball. Let's go with baseball. Fred McGriff. Go around the room. Is he a Hall of Famer? Like we just did. I said yes, and the majority of you said no. So no, he's not a Hall of Famer. Next year, next guy. And then that way you move on. I think the NFL. I think guys do slip through the cracks to get into the Hall of Fame. I think they changed their criteria a little more than baseball, where it's like you have to hit set numbers. But I think that's a better way to do it than the writers doing it personally.
Yeah,
Because the writers play favorites.
Right. And I think we've talked about it before, just about how, you might have a good relationship with a writer, but if Morgan's trying to interview me after I go 0 for 5 with 5 Ks and I shrug him off, Morgan's going to be like, oh, well, Nick Arno's a dink. I'm not voting for him when his name comes around. People are human. They're going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, then
like-
you give baseball credit for they are attempting to make a change. It's not just the writers anymore. They've created a new committee who probably still got it wrong, but they're trying something different.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a fair,
First
that's a
step,
valid point.
maybe down
Yeah.
the road it gets better.
I think that's fair, Brian.
They give
Absolutely.
these writers way too damn much power, and I don't understand why. It should be a committee of their peers that decide if they belong. Guys that have been there.
And do you really need 10 years to decide if a guy's a Hall of Famer?
Oh,
Well, I think, yeah, and I think that it probably causes more issues than it solves, in the sense that what we do over those 10 years then is, let's say player A doesn't get in, we just spend 10 years comparing the person to player B that is in. We go, well, if that player's in, how is this person not in, right? And then we start playing that correction game, and it's crazy.
And then, year 9, they have better stats than everybody else in this class, so let's put them in
Right.
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. It's
yeah, you
crazy.
get in because you're now the tallest midget, which is awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I will say McGriff was fun to watch, and if that's
He was.
Oh, sure.
something else, like I'm going to go to a museum, I want to see history, and I want to see what excited me. There's a lot of players that you went, like you say, Andrew Jones. He was tune-in television. I loved watching McGriff play, and I think that's something about, the Hall of Fame as well.
That's a really good point.
Which is fine. Like it's a baseball museum and a Hall of Fame, right? Hall of Fame and museum. If you want to put Fred McGriff and put an exhibit for Fred McGriff in the museum, all for it. But like, does he belong with a plaque downstairs?
493 home runs is a lot.
It
Yep.
it is.
Is it more than 762?
It is not.
So
Common Core math? It is.
Now, if you adjust for the Balco effect, that 762 is what, like 492?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bonds was still getting over 500 no matter
oh
what.
yeah, he would have been. He might have caught Ricky's steal record if he didn't do it.
Right?
I don't know about that. I mean,
But
Ricky
even if we
Henderson
put
stole
in
12
everybody
bases
that
a
you
game.
think deserves to be put in the steroid era, maybe I still want to see McGriff in there. Like the numbers are not horrendous.
No, not by any
He
means.
has all-stars, he has everything else. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a
Oh.
problem with him going in.
I don't either.
No, I wouldn't have picked him, but it doesn't bother me that he's there. I think that's fair.
And again,
Yeah.
all-time nickname, Crime Dog. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, 162 game average of 164 hits, 32 home runs, and 102 RBIs. That's not all that bad. It's not all that
I
bad.
was gonna say,
It's not-
30 homers
it's
and
not
100 RBIs.
Yeah, it's not
Average.
setting the world on fire, but an average pace. It's an average pace of that.
Yeah.
That's not. You take that consistently. That's pretty damn good.
And,
Yeah.
throw in a World Series ring in there. Doesn't hurt.
Sure doesn't.
Yeah. The one out of the 12 the Braves had a chance to win.
Ugh.
It still happened once.
But
Good Lord.
all right. Does anybody else have any like free agency or baseball news they want to throw in? This is an open forum here. I
I
think.
got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right. Harrison?
There's nothing I think that's major at this point. I think there's a lot of rumors still flying around, and
Yeah.
I'm interested to kind of see how this draft lottery whole thing pans out.
They announced
So
it.
The
The
Pirates,
Pirates got number one.
Pirate-
Oh,
Pirates,
I missed the
Nationals,
announcement.
Tigers. I think I saw.
I've been watching for it to pop up. I have not seen it pop up anywhere.
Yeah, Pirates got number one, and then
Nationals got 2,
Nationals got 2.
and I
that
think the
poor
Tigers
team.
got 3.
Can I be a bad guest for a second?
Yeah,
I
of course.
missed who won the favorite stat that you'd like to have. How did
We're-
that end up?
We're putting out the final matchup this week.
Oh, okay.
So we
I
have
didn't-
Pete Rose career hits against Barry Bonds career home runs.
Ugh.
And I'll put out the so that's what it so the DiMaggio and Barry Bonds was one vote. I think it was 5-4. And then Pete Rose over Ty Cobb's career average won pretty handily. I think it was 5-3.
Yep.
But the DiMaggio and Barry Bonds one was close. It was 5-4 Barry Bonds. So it will be Barry Bonds 762 against Pete Rose 4,386,122 career hits.
Oh, Morgan, you should win that one in a landslide.
No way, Pete Rose all the way. But I love the fact that it's a non Hall of Fame final.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
Spend a half an hour talking about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Not Hall of Fame final.
Right. It's just
That's the saddest part. Like
Yeah,
MLB
baseball.
just continues to miss it.
Yeah.
They just miss it.
all right.
I'm going to have
Well,
to abstain from voting for that.
but all right. Well, I want to thank you three guys for joining us. This was a blast
sure.
tonight. It was so much fun. Yeah, we'll have to do it again at some point. I'm sure we can come up with something to get everybody back on. But yeah, it was an absolute blast. I'll throw that out so everyone can vote on our teams here. I'm kind of curious to see what everybody
Yeah,
else
I'm
thinks.
gonna have a hard time with this lineup.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's gonna take me a while too, but
Like nobody deserves to hit 7th or 8th, but I got.
I was gonna say I might have Mickey Mantle hitting like 7th.
Biggie Mantle's
So, yeah.
pissed.
Yeah.
So yeah, just send me those lineups when you get the chance, and then I'll throw them out there. But thanks for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, follow, and interact with us. Again, more free agent news is coming down. Winter meetings are starting this week. They've already started.
Already started.
Already started. So stuff's gonna start flying here. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Monday at 8.